The vast savanna, where the late afternoon sun bathes everything in gold, is a brutal and magnificent picture of survival. But right in that peaceful moment, an unexpected situation arose, challenging the very primal nature of the wilderness. Would a king of the jungle dare to set aside the hunting instinct, accepting the risk to perform an act of life-saving? The stunning scene unfolds in Masai Mara during the golden hour of the late afternoon. This is the territory of Kai, the majestic alpha male lion, distinguished by his thick, dark mane, signifying supreme authority. Beside him is Nyla, a young lioness, full of curiosity and a vital member of the pride. Following a successful hunt, the pride was resting, enjoying a rare moment of contentment. However, innate curiosity led Nyala to venture a little further than the safe zone. She stepped into a dense patch of weeds, which concealed a deadly hazard, a 2-meter deep pit, perhaps a forgotten illegal snare or a dry well. Everything happened too fast. The ground beneath her feet collapsed, and the poor lioness completely disappeared into the dark earth. Nyala's terrifying roar echoed, shattering the twilight silence. Kai immediately rushed over. He looked down into the deep, black hole where only Nyala's desperate, fearful cries could be heard. Kai's instinct told him to protect the rest of the pride from the lurking danger, but a sacred bond held him back. Kai lowered his head, looking into the abyss. From that moment, he was forced to make a decision that went against the law of the jungle: to stay. The ultimate test of kinship had officially begun, transcending all laws of nature. In the harsh world of the wild, when darkness falls, the priority for any predator is to move, find a safe place, and recover energy. As expected, the rest of the lion pride, adhering to the law of survival, quickly retreated, seeking hidden shelter, far from the lurking dangers of the night. But Kai, the powerful leader, did something against all rules. He refused to leave. The pitch-black night swallowed the grassland, and the 2-meter deep pit where Nyala was trapped now became a cold, dark snare. Kai understood that any rescue attempt in the darkness would be futile and could endanger them both. Instead of a risky action, Kai chose patience. He lay down right on the edge of the pit, his large, majestic head resting on his forepaws, a posture of absolute vigilance, yet full of protection. Kai's presence was not just a simple act of guarding. It was an absolute commitment in body and spirit. He lay still, almost motionless. Instead of angry or anxious roars, Kai emitted deep, gentle chuffing sounds, an intimate, soft communication sound of lions, like a continuous current, sending reassurance down into the abyss. Below, Nyala, exhausted and trembling from hunger and cold, clung to that lifeline of sound. She responded with weak cries, occasionally trying to struggle up, but the slippery earth walls defeated every attempt. This nonverbal communication link, maintained through darkness and fear, was the only bridge between life and death. The night brought not only cold, but also lurking threats. The faint smell of a weak lioness in the pit, combined with the unusual presence of a large male lion lying still, attracted opportunistic predators. A clan of hyenas sniffed out the anomaly and began to prowl nearby. Kai did not need to chase them. He only needed a single, powerful, and decisive roar, a warning that echoed across the savanna, declaring ownership and ensuring the safety of the life threatened below. This was a battle against the elements and predators, as Kai had to maintain a perfect balance between vigilance and the commitment to stand guard, without allowing a second of distraction. Kai's silence and immobility for a full 12 hours were the clearest testament to his loyalty and leadership role, far surpassing ordinary survival instincts. Researchers often describe male lions as strategic predators, conserving energy for territorial maintenance and hunting. This action by Kai, dedicating his complete focus and exhaustion to guarding, is a rare anomaly, but it demonstrates the profound complexity of affection and personal bonds within their pride structure. Kai's tireless vigilance was not just waiting. It was the deepest vow of his care and leadership, valuing Nyala's well-being above his personal need for food and sleep. He did something dangerous. Hunger and exhaustion would make him weaker the next day, but he accepted the risk. As dawn broke, a pale light covered the dew-soaked grassland. Nyala struggled up, her blurry eyes looking up where the light penetrated. On the edge of the pit, Kai still lay there, his paws slightly trembling from hunger and cold, but his steadfast eyes never left the deep hole. The longest night was over, bringing a new ray of hope, but the greatest challenge, facing humans and finding a solution, was now truly beginning. The morning light brought not only warmth but also the distant sound of truck engine. It was the noise of intervention, the noise of civilization entering the wilderness. Two park rangers, Eli and Jared, arrived at the scene after receiving an urgent report. They approached slowly and professionally, but their appearance immediately intensified the situation. Kai, already fatigued after the long night of guarding, immediately tensed up, his mane bristling, his eyes switching to maximum defense mode. His primal instinct surged, urging him to protect his territory from these large, dangerous intruders. Kai let out a short, intimidating roar, ready to fight. However, this fight was not a hunt. Leah and Jared, fully aware they were facing the king of the beasts, maintained a safe distance. They spoke in quiet, reassuring tones, directed at Kai, but not making direct eye contact. The human intervention forced Kai to confront an impossible choice between the inherent fear of humans or the love and commitment for Nyala. As the giant yellow bulldozer approached, the loud engine noise and the smell of oil and grease further panicked Nyala below, her cries becoming more desperate. That very sound compelled Kai to retreat. He moved back step by step, not out of fear, but because he was prioritizing Nyala's pain over his own fear. Kai backed off to a safe distance, but still kept his body positioned between the machinery and the pit's edge. He entrusted the rescue mission to his natural adversary, an unprecedented act of negotiated trust. The bulldozer operator carefully lowered the bucket into the 2-meter deep pit. The intention was to gently lift Nyala out, but as the metal bucket touched the bottom, Nyala, exhausted and agitated by the cold metal and the noise, became aggressive and thrashed about. Scientifically, lions have extremely sensitive hearing. The metallic sound of machinery is not just loud. It's an unnatural vibration that triggers a primal fight or flight response. Both attempts to lift her with the bucket failed because the technique did not respect the animal's primitive nervous system. Both times, Nyala slipped off the bucket, falling back to the bottom of the pit, her weak cries now containing utter panic. This caused Kai outside to let out a roar filled with pain and despair. The rescue team understood that strength and speed would not work. They were breaking the trust of the very animal they wanted to save. After a short but decisive discussion, Leah made the call, "We have to stop. We cannot force her. We need to create a path she can walk out of herself." This was a groundbreaking shift. Instead of lifting Nyala, they decided to excavate a gentle ramp out of the pit. This solution required slowness, meticulousness, and patience, the complete opposite of conventional emergency logic. But this was the only way to respect Nyala's dignity and will to survive. The decision was made, and the bulldozer operator began preparing to perform a delicate, surgical maneuver on the earth. The fight was no longer against the pit, but against the humans' own urgency. Following the failed attempts to lift Nyala with the bucket, a solemn silence fell over the scene. Leah and Jared stepped back, looking towards Kai. The male lion had stopped growling, but the tension in his muscles showed he was assessing every subsequent human action. Now, the rescue became a display of patience and trust. The bulldozer operator began his work. Instead of digging quickly, he controlled his massive machine meticulously. Each bucket load of earth was removed deliberately, gently peeling away the pit wall to form a gradually sloping ramp from the bottom of the pit to the surface. The work was slow, requiring high concentration, because any mistake could cause the pit to collapse or injure Nyala. The sight was impressive. The contrast between the huge, cold steel machinery performing a delicate rescue surgery against the backdrop of the African red earth. Layer upon layer of soil was lifted, dust gently flying in the morning sun, which had begun to intensify. Throughout the ramp excavation, a parallel vigil was taking place. This was when Kai demonstrated an absolute trust in human solution. Leah and Jared maintained soft, reassuring voices directed at Kai. "It's all right, King Kai. We're making a way for her." They understood that keeping Kai calm was as important as digging the ramp, as his aggression could end the entire operation. Kai sat down, no longer showing aggression. His protective instinct was now transformed into absolute stillness. The fact that Kai did not attack or flee, but silently witnessed, was a sign of the highest trust in the rescue process. Down in the pit, Nyala watched. Her initial extreme fear was replaced by a fragile ray of hope as the ramp gradually formed. The lioness had to battle physical exhaustion after a long night of cold and hunger, along with the psychological paralysis of being trapped. After many hours of tension and cold, a lion's muscles become stiff and depleted. The final climb was not just about physical distance, but about overcoming the body's shutdown mechanism due to prolonged fatigue and fear. Finally, the ramp was gentle enough. The bulldozer operator turned off the engine, and silence returned. Nyala struggled to her feet, her legs trembling. She began to climb. She took a few steps, but the slippery mud and her weakness caused her to slide back down. She panted, rested for a moment, then stood up again. The rescue team remained completely silent, no one daring to shout or act suddenly. Their silence was the deepest respect for the lioness's personal battle. Nyala attempted a second time. This time, she made it halfway up the ramp, pausing to catch her breath, her eyes fixed determinedly on Kai. The strength of her will help her overcome the physical fatigue. Finally, with one last effort, Nyala took the remaining solid steps. She reached the edge of the pit. She was free. After her final struggle, Nyala successfully scaled the pit edge. The moment the warm sunlight illuminated her entire body was a moment of silent triumph. The young lioness's legs were wobbly, but she did not waste a second. She did not look toward the humans who saved her, but ran straight toward Kai. Kai, who had maintained absolute stillness, sprang up. But there was no triumphant roar, only boundless gentleness and relief. The intersection moment unfolded emotionally. Kai lowered his large, dark-maned head, and Nyala pressed her head, rubbing her dusty fur against his neck and mane. This scene was the peak of emotion, the fusion of two souls, releasing all the fear, cold, and despair of the long night. This was the moment the unbreakable bond was proven. Leah, Jared, and the bulldozer operator stood watching, sharing a silent, knowing smile. They knew that although they had provided the tools for rescue, it was love and persistence that completed this miracle. Immediately afterward, the pit was quickly and neatly filled to ensure no other life would face a similar danger. This event was not just an animal rescue. It was a profound lesson in the nature of strength. We often seek grand, dramatic explanations for life's great challenges. But this simple moment, that intimate head-rubbing gesture, reminds us that connection is the deepest form of courage. Kai could have left, leaving Nyala to fend for herself according to the law of natural selection. But he stayed, enduring exhaustion and fear. And that choice, that prioritization of kinship, is the very definition of true strength. It shows that the emotional intelligence of large predators is far more complex than the stereotypes of a mere killing instinct. After calming down, Kai gently nudged Nyala with his head, as if encouraging her. The two began to walk slowly, shoulder to shoulder, returning to where the pride was waiting in the distance. As they drew closer, the pride let out a soft chorus of chuffing sounds, a loving and appreciative welcome. The sun was now high, warm, and no longer harsh, illuminating the path home for the pair. Finally, this story poses a question to ourselves. We found a gentle solution to a primal problem. We need that persistence and gentleness in our own lives, in our relationships, and in how we treat the world. This pit appeared due to human negligence. We are the guardians of these amazing wilderness areas. If you feel moved and connected to the story of Kai and Nyala, then you have the power to act. Please support conservation efforts in Masai Mara so that illegal snares like this no longer exist. Share this story to spread the message of connection. What is your unbreakable bond? Have you ever prioritized patience over haste to say something? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join us in exploring the gentle and profound side of the natural world.